from Woman Be Scrapping, and I am here with a kit share for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club and a process video for a layout I've decided to do. This is my most recent kit from the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. I asked Christina to make me a kit based on this piece of paper. I love stars, I love the navy, and I just happened to find this randomly and I went, oh, needed it. So she built me a kit based on this. This is the other side. I'm not too much of a fan of this one, but I do love, 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 love this. The 6x6 papers that came with it are these. I like the little pink heart on there. This one I'm going to end up using today. I'm going to set that one aside. Here are the other ones. They're from the Dear Lizzy Stargazer collection. I love those dots, and I adore the navy on that side too. This, I like that I could cut apart those, which I may end up doing today with some of these with the picture I'm going to do. Nice green leaf background. I like this one. I think I would find this one a little harder to use though. The script tends to be difficult for me, but this side is absolutely gorgeous. I love that. From Amy Tangerine's Hustle and Heart, I have this one with these rainbow stripes and then kind of a gradient with the hearts on the other side. And then I've got two from the Dear Lizzy Stay Colorful collection. Apparently I missed this when it came out. The date on it's 2017, so it was last year. But oh my goodness, I adore it. I love the rainbow raindrops on this. This side is one I'm going to be using today. Diagonal stripes, rainbow, love it. And then this other one, I really do like these flowers a lot. The other side is this aqua grid. As much as I love the flowers, I'm going to use the aqua grid side today. And then embellishments that came with it, she sent this navy pom-pom. I'm not going to use that today, nor am I going to use any of these wooden stars today. Look, they're little shooting stars. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to use them. They're just not going to go with today's layout. And then I got Color Me Happy by Coco Vanilla. Letters, it's kind of hard to see, but that's capital letters. It's one-sided, so you get three per letter for the most part, like 4 E's in there, but most of them have 3. I got the puffy stickers from the Stargazer collection. I've got the ephemera pack, which has the copper accents, and then I also got the stuff sticking to it, the cardstock stickers, which I think are very nice. These also have the copper accents in it. So the picture I'm going to do today, let me clear that off. So I've sped the video up to double time to do the voiceover for the process video part. This is a picture of my daughter from last Easter. She's 9 years old. You can just see her foot poking out from behind this gigantic duck that she asked the Easter Bunny for. I'm basing my color choices on the watercolor stripes, and these are some scraps that I chose for my scrap basket. And some Project Life cards that I picked out, that I thought went well. And then Queen & Company, this felt fusion border strip. I have a bunch of those and I want to use them. And then I've got a Heidi Swapp stencil, and I'm using this Nuvo embellishment mousse. I bought originally Coastal Surf, and then the purpley one's English Heather. There is an example of using the Coastal Surf with another stencil I had. These are some new ones I picked up. That first was Lemon Sorbet. The green one is Aloe Vera. Then the aqua one is purpley called Aquamarine. And then the reddish pink is French Rose. I ended up choosing to use Lemon Sorbet, Aquamarine, and English Heather on this particular layout with the stencil. And then I have my Nuvo drops. The blue one is Sea Breeze. It dries translucent. I end up using that. And I do end up using the other pink one, which I can't find. It's Strawberry something or another. I don't know how to say it. Here it is. Strawberry Coulis, C-O-U-L-I-S. I don't know how to say it. And the crystal drops, which dry opaque. The pink is Carnation Pink. These are the Color Me Happy letter stickers. I'm going to use these watercolor pencils I just got. They were in my Amazon cart for quite a while, and the price dropped significantly, so I thought that was a hint. I pulled 5 colors: Parrot Green, Lilac, Canary Yellow, Pink, and Orange. And then I'm going to use my watercolor brush with them. I'm inking today with the Hickory Smoke Distress ink, and now I'm just clearing everything off so I can actually get to work. So I'm relatively new to mixed media in one regard, and then old with mixed media in another. I just cut off the branding strip there. I've had mixed media for quite a few years. I don't tend to use it very much.
It's something that I always think looks cool, and I'm like, oh, I need to get some, and then I never use it. So my thought right now was to maybe do some Mixed Media Monday videos, and you can kind of see my learning process along with it. So this embellishment mousse by Nuvo has this foil wrapper on top, and it helps to keep everything nice and moist inside. The first two colors, the English Heather and Coastal Surf, I was very surprised with their texture. They were a lot thicker than I thought it would be, and that kind of scared me. But the other ones, the two I just opened, the Lemon Sorbet and Aquamarine, are much more of the texture I expected. And you saw I just had my 6x6 piece of paper with my photo. I've trimmed my photo, I think, about a 1/4 inch off, so it fits well with my 6x6 pad, and that's something I do quite a bit. Then I get to use all these 6x6 papers I collect, and it also lets me layer a little bit more with them. So I'm just I grabbed a palette knife and I'm putting the Lemon Sorbet with all the hearts and a couple of the circles by accident, but you end up not seeing the circles, so I'm not too worried about it. There's a little bit on the side that kind of smeared off. Again, I mean, I'm looking at it right now, and I've ended up covering up a lot of it completely by accident, but even if I didn't, it doesn't really stand out as something that you notice. Of course, I've got to clean everything. That's one thing I've learned with mixed media, is always have paper towels and baby wipes handy, because you will use them a lot. And to clean your stencils right away. I did one thing where I didn't clean my stencil right away, and I still have whatever it is I spread through the stencil still on the stencil. It's awful. The stencil's still usable, but I see it every time and it reminds me. You see I dropped some of the Nuvo mousse on my actual paper there by accident. It didn't leave a mark, so, well, it left a tiny mark, but it blends in with the back of the paper, so I'm not too worried about it. I was a little worried that the Aquamarine mousse wouldn't show up very well, but it did a lot better than I thought. So I'm scraping some off and putting it back in the container because I want to save as much as I can. I don't want to waste it. But what I have noticed is this stuff, I think, is going to last a while, because I don't use it on like entire canvases, essentially, not these huge amounts of canvas being my 12x12 layout. I don't use it on huge things, so it will last a while, I think. And I don't use a lot for the English Heather. It is darker, and it doesn't actually quite match perfectly with what I've got, but it's the closest to what I've got, so I'm using it. And I end up trying to put the stencil back down, because when I lifted it up, it ended up, those particular hearts were very tall compared to the other ones, and I didn't want them tall. So I attempt to lay the stencil back down over it, and I don't quite get it exactly right, but you can see, you know, there's a lot on there that did come off. So I did have enough on there. I'm glad I did it. There's a little bit of smudging, but it's not too noticeable. Each of the colors smudge somewhat underneath the stencil, so that's something I think is going to come with a little bit of practice. And also I think I'm going to start taping them down. I need to get some, I keep seeing people using this purple tape, and I think like the blue painter's tape I use at school all the time for student artwork will work, because that comes off their artwork without tearing the paper. And, you know, so that's good. So I'm cleaning everything up right now. I've set aside my 12x12 sheet to dry. This is one thing I do really particularly like about the mousse. I can't remember if I've said this, because this is the 3rd or 4th time I've recorded this voiceover, because something's happened with each of my other recordings. So I can't remember if I've said it yet, but this mousse dries a lot faster than what I thought it would. With the Glimmer Mist that I used to use, and I have a ton of colors of Glimmer Mist, it took forever to dry, and I'm an impatient person. I'm a quick scrapbooker for the most part. You know, I want to just, once I have an idea, I act on it. And waiting for stuff to dry just holds up my creative process. So I like the fact that the mousse dries so quickly. So I've set it aside, and now I'm doing the colored pencil on the letters. And in the time that it takes to do all this, the embellishment mousse has already pretty much started to dry to where I can work with it. Now I'm coloring in the word bunny, which seems odd since I have a duck that I'm scrapbooking, but my daughter, in her sense of humor for this age, she asked what I thought she should name the duck, and I said name it Bunny, because she used to name all of her stuffed animals by whatever it is. We have a shark named Shark, we have a hippo named Hippo, we have a duck named Duck. But, you know, I said you should name it Bunny, and she looks at me like I have lost my mind. I have no clue what I just showed you right there. But I explained, you know, the Easter Bunny brought it for you, so name it Bunny, which she loved, and so the gigantic duck has been called Bunny from then on. And I just realized I could have used my Wink of Stella pen with the watercolor. It would have added a little bit of sparkle, which would have gone well with the pearlescence of the Nuvo embellishment mousse. But, you know, at this point, I'm done. So I'm off trimming things. I'm going to bring in my different layers. And now I'm going to try to figure out what order I want my layers in. Which this is the kind of thing that I can overthink quite easily. I don't want the aqua against the stripe. Since my background is aqua, I want to keep a couple layers separating it. But I don't want the purple layer next to that coral layer either. So ink, ink, ink. So I'm off trimming now all of my layers as I go through and ink them. Which seems to be taking forever. There we go. Now I'm back. Size it with the yellow. And then I decide to kind of go off a little bit. And I know that I just said I didn't want the purple next to the coral. But because it's not an entire purple layer next to the coral, I actually kind of like how it turned out like this. And this scrap right here, the purple and the coral obviously don't go, excuse me, the purple and the aqua don't go all the way over. But I like that kind of messy stack look. You see I'm trying to pull the layers together, and I marked it with my thumb. I kind of made a little dent on the paper that I could see when I cut it. Now I'm inking. I am an inker 100%. I love to ink all of my layers. I used to ink even the background paper, and I've stopped doing that with the recent couple layouts I've done. I don't know if I'll go back to it or not. But I like the continuity it adds to it. It kind of brings all the different layers together. I just feel I like the look better. And then I go through and I like doing messy stacks so everything's not quite lined up, and I realized I forgot to do that with the yellow one. I will do a neat layer with the paper that's right next to the photo, and then I like to kind of turn them a little bit just to give a little bit of motion and movement to the layer, kind of like I just dropped the stack of photos there. The paper's peeled up just a smidge, but with the layout done, you can't tell. I've had that coral paper for forever. I don't even remember who made it. Now I'm just going through and getting everything ready to go onto my striped paper. And then I try to find the best angle, what I like the best. I end up going with this one right here. I like how the colors moved through the different layers, and again, I marked it with my thumb before I moved it off, and then I have to go and grab the actual stack of photos to make sure that it layers correctly. So there we go. This is what's left over, and there's a lot left, so I can easily use that as a strip of paper on another 12 by 12 layout. And I think, I can't remember if I used that on another layout. I'm testing to see if it's dry, and it is. It's slightly tacky, just a smidge. So I set it aside to continue drying. It only needs really another minute or two. And here are the ink road stamps that I've pulled. What I'm deciding to do now is add some more hearts in there, because I kind of like the idea of the hearts kind of floating up out of this page with my daughter. And then I'm grabbing the Project Life cards and trying them out. Again, I like the hearts, so I'm going with that one. I'm going to trim the rounded corners off. Well, rounded corners are great because everything else is straight on this. I wanted to go ahead and keep with the square corners. Ink, ink, ink. There's space to put the hearts and stuff in there. Now I'm going to try to line it all up on the layout. Because I wanted a lot of the hearts to show, but I need it to kind of line up. I'm sorry about it being a little bit out of frame there. I'm pulling out my Distress ink colors that I'm going to use for the small hearts for the ink road stamp. Making sure that they go And again, I'm using that stripe background to pull all of my colors. So I start off with pulling, let's see, it's Worn Lipstick, Wilted Violet, and can't see, Peacock Feathers. Those are the three colors I start to pull. And I decide later on it needs a yellow, so I will eventually pull Squeezed Lemonade to go with it. So I'm adding in some of these little hearts. And I like, that way it mixes the colors up and kind of adds a more freeform, floaty feeling to it, to me, at least. And I put the little hearts, too, on the corner of the Project Lifeguard. Excuse me. And I'm really annoyed because it's been a couple days since I've scrapbooked. It's been a couple weeks, actually. And my stamp chamois is completely dried up into that nice hard ball. So I just squirted a corner of it so I could clean the little heart off. And then I add a little tiny hearts in there. And I think they've got an even smaller one. That might be this. No, that is the smallest one. And they've got one that's kind of in the middle. Keep adding more hearts. Attempt to clean. I've since wet my stamp chamois, so it works now much better. I'm looking at the phrases on there, which none of them really worked for what I was doing. Now everything is truly dry enough that I can tape it down without having to worry. And of course, I forget where I had it marked earlier, but that's okay. And I've got a little bit of that Project Life card hanging over at the bottom. So I covered up with the felt strip from Queen and Company, and I attempt to cut it right, and hopefully you can see this again. There we go. I moved it up. I was smart. I can't. I cut it too long. I didn't realize that. I thought I cut it pretty close. But trying to get this thing trimmed down, oh my gosh, you would have thought I was trying to solve some insane puzzle. It took me forever, and I'm laughing at it, looking at me trying to do it now. I just cut it. It's fine. But every time I would move it, it would shift, and I couldn't get it. And I'm like, let me try this way. So I finally do it. It's not exactly perfect. It's slightly crooked, but I don't care at this point. My letters are dry with the word bunny, so I can put those at the top. I thought the hearts left a nice space right in the middle that is actually the perfect size for that word. I didn't do that on purpose, but I'm quite happy with how that turned out. And then I need to grab something, because I forgot to grab something for the word meat. And these mini market stickers from October Afternoon work brilliantly. I thought I almost ran out of E's, but haven't yet. Only 4 E's left. I need more of these mini market stickers. If anyone knows where I can get some more, let me know. And this is where I'm going. I want more hearts. Quite a lot more hearts, actually, I think. It just feels empty still to me. Here's the Squeezed Lemonade Distress Oxide I pull out. And I definitely need to get some hearts in there. And this is where I'm finally using the medium-sized heart. The yellow doesn't show up too well as a heart on the video, and it really, even in person, it doesn't. However, it still fills in some of that color gap. So I've got that set aside, and now I'm going to add in some more of the other colors as well. Now that I've got my title and I know where everything is now glued down, it makes it easier to kind of spread it out. And I know some people would look at this and think, oh my gosh, there's so much in there. And I actually quite like it. I'd wanted to add some at the bottom, but I wasn't sure how to do that with the felt, so I ended up not. Later on, you'll see a little embellishment cluster in the bottom right corner. But that's as far as I went. So I just kept adding hearts until it felt right. And even now, it doesn't quite feel perfect. But you'll see what I do to fill those little gaps in a moment. Finally go back to my yellow, just a smidge more. Obviously, I don't put a yellow heart with the heart cluster on the Project Lifeguard because you wouldn't be able to see it very well. Not that you can see the yellow that well anyways. Alright, so now I'm looking at my stickers, and some people absolutely love and adore puffy stickers. I'm kind of mixed on them. I choose these clocks because at the time of making this layout, it struck me how time is fleeting with her. She's growing up to where stuffed animals are not going to be what she wants. So I'm putting down some flowers with it as well, kind of filling in some of those extra little gaps. I wanted to use some of the cardstock stickers, but nothing quite felt right. So this is what I'm doing to fill in all the other little gaps. I'm using some of those Jewel Drops in Sea Breeze. And these dry translucent. It looks like little water droplets almost. The one I showed earlier and didn't mention looked white is called Morning Dew. It actually dries completely clear. I do end up using some of that. Now, I'm still relatively new with Nuvo drops. I have 1.5 million different kinds of stickles. I counted. It's 1 million. It feels that way at least. So I'm trying to practice with getting drop size right, and having it not be peaked at the center. And I'm looking at my layout right now as it's dry, and all of the pink ones that I put on, none of them are peaked. Some of the red clear ones, the strawberry ones, did peak a little bit, and I'm not quite sure why, because every time I've tried those out, those have peaked. I tried them out on my craft mat once, or twice I think actually, but all the others went just fine. I just keep going through and adding more, and this is what I'm doing to fill in all the other spaces. So I've got my Nuvo Mousse hearts, I've got my stamped hearts, and now I'm doing droplets. And what I really liked, I'm an enamel dot person. I adore enamel dots. I think I'm going to have to pick up some more of these Nuvo crystal drops because I love how it looks like enamel dots. I'm not stuck on, oh no, I only have 2 of this color and I need 3. I can just squeeze and use, and once I figure out size-wise better, I think I'll be just great with these. Here I am adding those strawberry ones. They just don't spread out quite as well. And now I'm finally adding in some of the clear, and I streaked it. There's a little line, and I think I go back and attempt to fix that. Yeah, here I go. I grab it's a silhouette tool, but I just needed something straight that I could peel it off with. Not peel it, but wipe it off. You can see a little bit, but nothing that stands out to a casual viewer. Trying to fix it. It did not turn out as well as I would have hoped, but there I am trying to even it out because it's peaked on top. So I need to view some videos where I can see if that's automatically just going to soften up or not. I'm almost done. I will eventually, well not eventually, I need to today. I'm going to go back and add in the date at the bottom right corner. I like to put all my dates there and add in my journaling. And then this will be completely finished. I'm showing you my Nuvo supplies that I used on it, which were a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please subscribe, please give me a like. I'm trying to grow my channel, so I'm hoping to start this series of Mixed Media Mondays and let you see my journey into mixed media and how I'm attempting to use it on layouts. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.